Good morning. There's a group of 15 psalms called the Songs of Ascent. That's Psalms 120 to 134. Now, there weren't always 15 of them. David wrote many of them. Solomon appears to have written 127, which is connected to the building of the temple, because he says, unless Yahweh builds the house, those who build it build in vain. Unless Yahweh watches over the city, the watchman stays awake in vain. Solomon relied on God to help with the building. Psalm 126 would have been written after the Israelites returned from Babylon. In verse 5 and 6, it says, those who sow in tears will reap with shouts of joy. Something we need to remember. He who goes out weeping, bearing the seed for sowing, shall come home with shouts of joy, bringing the sheaves with him. It seems that the Israelites would have sung these songs as they were going up to Jerusalem for various festivals, or maybe the Levites sung them as they ascended the steps to the temple. But either way, it would remind them of the sort of difficulties they were facing and where they could get help. For example, in Psalm 120, the psalmist says, deliver me, Yahweh, from lying lips, from a deceitful tongue, which was worse than a warrior's arrows. Psalm 129 speaks of, greatly they have afflicted me from my youth, yet they have not prevailed against me. I think many of us could relate to Psalm 124, which said, if the Lord had not been on our side when people rose up against us, they would have swallowed us up alive. Verse 4, the flood would have swept us away. The flood of difficulties would have overwhelmed us. However, verse 6 says, blessed be Yahweh, who has not given us as prey to their teeth. So where does help come from? At the beginning of Psalm 120, the psalmist remembered times in the past when the Lord had answered his prayers, gives us confidence that he will help us in the future. Psalm 125 says that those who trust in Yahweh are like Mount Zion, which cannot be moved, but abides forever. Nobody can snatch us out of the hands of the Lord. In Psalm 130 and verses 6 and 7, it says, my soul waits for the Lord. Verse 7, O Israel, hope in Yahweh, for with Yahweh there is steadfast love, and with him is plentiful redemption. Possibly the most famous of these songs of ascent is Psalm 121, which says, I lift up my eyes to the hills. From where does my help come? My help comes from Yahweh, who made heaven and earth. The last verse there says, the Lord will keep your going out and your coming in from this time forth and forevermore. Consequently, the last of these songs of ascent says for us to bless Yahweh, all you servants of his. The last verse says, may the Lord bless you from Zion, he who made heaven and earth. All these psalms are well worth reading, give us great assurance that the Lord will answer our prayers. He will get us through all our difficulties. So God bless you all and take care.